Hello everybody, it's Gary Hallican here, and today we're looking at another DC Multiverse Batman, but this time we have Detective Comics number 27 Batman, or First Appearance Batman, right? So this came out in the same wave with the Azrael and the Batman armor, and with a Nightfall Batman in a black and gray suit, and I'll be looking at that one soon as well. But today we've got First Appearance Batman, and as you can see here, he's actually going to come with multiple alternate hands for once. So that's something that we don't see too often with the McFarlane DC Multiverse ones. So it's exciting to see that. If we look on the side, we'll see it says Detective Comics 27. And on the back, we have the cover of Detective Comics 27. Of course, Batman's first appearance. And this figure does have the wired cape. So hopefully that means we can get some poses kind of like this. Some poses maybe approximating this, and some poses maybe approximating some of the other famous poses from that particular comic book. Either way, I think it's going to be cool, so let's go ahead and get him out and see what we think. Okay, so here is Batman out of the package, and interestingly, he only has 2 of those ties on him that you need to cut in order to get him out, where some of the other McFarlane figures have had lots of those. So, you know I've mentioned them in other videos, but he's pretty easy to get out because he only has 2 of them. And first impressions on this figure are pretty great, I think. I think he looks very cool. He looks very big and beefy, right, and very intimidating. I'm sure this is a reused body, but I don't know what exactly it's reused from. Now, some of you might be saying, but why would Batman have these garish, seemingly out of place purple gloves like that, right? But that is accurate to Batman's very first appearance in Action Comics 27. Now, you might have noticed on the cover that I showed on the back of the box, he has more blue gloves on the cover, and the belt is different on the cover. But this is more accurate to how he looks in the comic. It's usually purple gloves that he has in the comics. It does vary a little bit, but it seems like every first appearance Batman kind of thing, that's kind of figure or anything like that that's ever been made, has gone with the purple gloves. So I think that looks pretty good. And the belt looks very cool and looks accurate to that first comic. And the symbol looks very good and very accurate. If we come up and look at the head sculpt here. So the head, I think, looks quite good. It's not totally accurate. It's probably the least accurate part of this one. If it were wanted to be really accurate to the original comic, the ears would be quite a bit shorter and they would tilt out to the sides more than that. But I think this head sculpt is pretty good, and it is a good compromise, between what we think of as modern Batman, right, and and the original first appearance. Now the cape, that's kind of what we all came for, because it is a wired cape. Very interestingly, it is a totally different material than the Cassandra Cain Batgirl wired cape that you see over there. Hers is a cloth material, more like you'd see with the old time Batman figures, or something kind of like spandex, something like that. This is more of a canvas material for this cape, and so you can see it's shiny there, much shinier than her cape is. So maybe that will lend itself well to, some good looking poses. And even as it is here, you can see it looks pretty cool, and it's going to have a lot of range there. All right, so aesthetically, I would say pretty awesome, I think. I think he looks great, and big and intimidating, and, looks pretty accurate to the first appearance as well. All right, so if we look at articulation, his head and neck are actually all one piece on this one. So that's a little bit different. I have seen that on some other ones. I think the Batman that came with the Batman and Spawn set, I think that was true of him too, that the head and neck were all one piece. So with that in mind, we're going to get no looking up at all. We're going to get very severe look down, so we can, look down all the way. Hopefully that's going to help us get a pose kind of like, some of the classic poses from some of the covers. I don't remember what number it is now. People in the comments will be mad at me, but it's Detective Comics, what, 38 or something like that, where we get a pose, you know, kind of like that, where he's looking down. So we can get very good look down, and we're going to get twist side to side and tilt left and right a little bit. So too bad he can't look up at all, but we get very good look down. Okay, so for the arms, they can go that far, so past horizontal, so that's pretty good. And we've got all the way around, and we've got just a little tiny bit forward and back. You're not really getting anything there with that. We do have a bicep swivel. We've got the double elbow, just like that. And then at the wrist, we have twisting, and we have, looks like, the vertical hinges at the wrist here, right? And as I mentioned, he's going to have several different hands, so hopefully those will switch in and out easily. All right, we've got joint at the chest, so we can rotate there at the chest. We're going to get no crunch at all, and all right, lean back. So no ab crunch. That's something we still don't get much with any of these McFarlane figures, it seems like. We do get pretty good tilt side to side. All right, at the legs, got forward only about that far, and back only a little bit. This is one of those where if you move the leg too far, you're going to get a little bit of a gap in here between the trunks. Not really too much swivel there. We've got the double knee, which is very good, goes all the way. And then at the foot, we've got up that far and down that far. And we've got the toes. And then we've got the twist at the ankle like that. So I'd say this figure feels pretty good to play with because he is big and beefy, and all the joints, you know, feel big and ratchety, right? So that's good. So as I've mentioned, of course, he's got the wired cape. So we'll work more with that at the end. At the end of this video, I'm going to try to do some dramatic poses with him and try to maybe copy some poses from the original comic book, right, with the wired cape. But you can see here the cape does have a pretty good wingspan there, right? So we can get some cool stuff going on with it. I don't think we're going to be able to get too close to the actual cover of the comic book here. It might need to be a little bit wider in order to do that, you know, but we'll see what we can do here with that. All right, so let's look at accessories next. Okay, for accessories, he does have the card and the stand, right, that comes with all of these figures. And then he's got 4 extra hands. So we've got the fist hands that come on him. And then we also have sort of a claw hand, which I just dropped. There we go. I didn't lose it forever. There we go. So we've got a kind of a claw hand. This is a left hand. And we've got a right one that is the same. All right, so there's a right sort of claw hand, or it could be a hand that could maybe hold one of the batarangs that came with one of your other Batman figures. And then he has 2 open hands. These could be karate chop hands for sure, or, you know, slapping hands, something like that. And these all look pretty good. They've all got some texture on them as if they are actually gloved hands, right? So that's pretty nice. And then his last accessory is a wrench. And it's been a while since I've read Detective Comics 27, so I can't remember when he uses the wrench in there. I'm sure he uses a wrench in that, and that's why we get this as an accessory. It is bright blue rather than being metallic wrench colored. I suspect that's a to be accurate to the original comic as well. But we'll see how easy the hands are to switch. So let's get one of the claw hands here. And I'm guessing we'll use that to hold the wrench. Kind of. Looks like. He kind of doesn't really come with a hand that's meant for holding the wrench. These claw hands would be good for batarangs and good for kind of looking like he's gripping the edge of the cape. But they aren't really wrench holding hands. Let's see how easy it is to switch them. So, very easy. Very easy to switch hands there. Much easier than some figures I've seen. And then I guess he, I don't know, can only kind of hold the wrench with that hand. So that's a little bit goofy. He comes with a wrench that he can't really hold. That's something I thought we had left long in the past of action figures, you know, them coming with accessories that they can't hold, right? So I'm going to say the accessories could definitely be better on this guy. But it is great that he comes with extra hands, so I'm not going to complain about that. All right, so let's do some size comparisons next. Okay, so for the whole video here, you have been seeing him compared with the Azrael in his Batman armor and the Cassandra Cain Batgirl. Those are both fairly new figures, and I have reviews of both of those on my channel as well. So you can see here, first appearance Batman is a big guy. He's big and beefy. I don't have Azrael standing totally straight up and down, but I think Batman would be just a speck taller, and he is taller than Cassandra as well. So even amongst these 7-inch McFarlane figures here, he's a big one, a very tall figure. But I think that looks cool. Here he is with Marvel Legends Cersei. So she looks quite small compared to him here. So he's probably a little too big to be in proper 7-inch scale, right? She's in 6-inch scale, of course. But that's okay. I think he looks very cool. Here is a typical 12-ounce beverage can. And then, of course, here is John Cena. All right, so he kind of towers over even John Cena there. All right, so I'm going to do some dramatic poses with him next. I'm going to pose the cape and try to kind of copy some of the poses, you know, in the original comic, if I can do that. But overall, I would say this figure is very good. I like it a lot. I like the feel. I like that he's big and beefy, and he's pretty accurate to his first comic book appearance. And the cape seems very cool as well. Unfortunately, the accessories, you know, could definitely be better, I think. But he does get extra hands, so it's kind of a trade-off. I am very happy we got the extra hands, and I'd much rather we have that other than, you know, some other goofy accessory that's no good. All right, so that's the Detective Comics 27 Batman. So let me know in the comments if you have this one, what you think of it. Let me know in the comments if you have an original copy of Batman comic or Action Comics. I'm getting it all wrong. An original copy of Detective Comics number 27. Let me know in the comments if you've got one and if you're going to sell it for $3 million or whatever. And let me know what else is cool, and we'll see you in the next review.
There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rise Sing Sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy and God I know.